Hey guys, as you may have seen in the last video, which I'll link up there, I was talking about my next project, which is about making a set of parallel jaw flatbed tongs. Although the idea has evolved a little bit after talking with some key smiths, which you may be seeing, as a little hint, you may be seeing some other videos from. By the time this comes out, they may have already done it, we'll see. Anyway, the problem is, as any blacksmith would know, when you're working with flat bar stock, leaf spring, everybody knows leaf spring. The problem is, when you're working with normal tongs, the further open you have them, the wider the angle is. Now, to get a good grip on flat stock, you really need to have a large area of surface contact on both sides of the piece. So, for example, I have a sort of hybrid pair of bolt tong, wolf jaw tong sort of things here, and they will do flat stock. They will stay parallel for 3mm stock. But if I start holding something bigger, see how they open up? And really, if I was to try and hold something like this 8mm leaf spring, when I go to grab it, it's actually only grabbing it at the back because it can move up and down. It can wobble. No matter how tightly I grip this, it can wobble and move around because there's only 2 points on here, specifically the ones at the back, that are holding onto the stock. So the problem that needs to be rectified is that the jaws need to come down parallel from both the top and the bottom to get that large amount of surface area. Now, I said the idea has evolved. What if those flat surfaces actually had V-grooves cut into them that were deep enough that you could hold flat stock, round stock, square stock, what have you? But the problem is trying to overcome that angle shift on a standard pair of tongs. So I've mocked up a wooden prototype before I go and waste a lot of steel by trying to make them work. And here's what I come up with. I call them a dolphin tongs because it looks like a dolphin. As you can see here, we have 2 rivets here and 2 rivets at the back. But this way, when it opens, the jaws open parallel to each other. And they stay parallel the entire time. Now, these are open quite a long way at the moment for this stock, but the fact is you're never using them if they're empty. So realistically, you could take them down to about 3mm or whatever the smallest stock that you'd be doing, and bend this bottom rein to be out flat there. That way you would actually have a much easier grip. So this is, like I said, this is just a prototype. The final one, I would actually bend this up more so that when they're completely closed, you'd actually see this bottom rein cross over the top one a little bit. And I think that would give you a much more secure grip. But as it currently stands, these hold anywhere from 10mm stock all the way to nothing, quite well. And they've got, these are quite narrow nibs because this is a little wooden plywood prototype, but you would actually have quite wide jaws to get that large surface area. You might even put grooving on it to have better friction, or like I said, a little V groove in them to be able to hold square or round stock in addition to your flat stock. So this is the prototype of what I'll be building, my dolphin tongs. I'm going to be making them out of steel. I'm going to opt for fabricating them rather than forging them for this initial pair, because the way these work is because this angle and distance needs to match this angle and distance, and trying to do that in a forge with drifting holes for rivets, etc. is going to be a little bit finicky, and for that first initial pair that I make, I really want a bit more precision there. So it's going to be a lot of grinding, a lot of maybe a little bit of bending of steel, but mainly it's going to be grinding, drilling, and fabricating the old school way. May even weld on the actual jaws. Keep them nice and narrow and skinny to lower weight, because this is a lot more material here than a normal set of tongs, and you don't want your tong arm to get exhausted from having to carry heavy tongs. You want them to be nice and light, but you want them to be strong. So I may keep the actual sections here narrow and then weld on wider plates. We'll see how it goes, but my first set is going to be fabricated. But there's the prototype of the dolphin tong. Feel free to run with this idea, guys, because really, I work with 2, 3, 5, 6, and 10mm flat bar a lot, and 8, as you saw with the leaf springs, which is about 8. And frankly, having to have different tongs for each of them, or to try and weld on like a bit of round stock or something to be able to use them. I'd rather just be able to pick up a set of tongs and be able to get a good solid purchase, and that is what the Dolphin Tong will be able to offer. So there's my wooden prototype. Reins will of course be a little bit longer, but they're going to be more or less the same size. If I was using it for bigger, heavier things more often, like bits of leaf spring, I would probably make them a bit more chonky, you know, like these ones. But until that happens, I'm going to make a small prototype set like so. And you'll get to see that. I'll do a video when I'm fabricating them, probably next week sometime if the weather permits. But yeah, Dolphin Tongs. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe, guys. It really helps the channel. I've just recently passed 100 subs, which is awesome. And I'd like to thank every single one of you for supporting those videos, because it really makes my day. I'm just a little humble smith in my garage, so although not for long, that's changing. We'll see. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. And if you do make a set of the Dolphin Tongs and have a play with it, I would love to actually have you comment down below with a link to the video. I'll definitely do a shout out, and if enough people do it, I may do a compilation video or something like that, because I think that is a very valuable tool to have in the workshop. Anyway, hope you guys are enjoying yourselves, and I hope you are much cooler than I am at the moment, because Brisbane is on fire at the moment. Anyway, catch you later, guys.